I want to thank the judges, the clerks of the court, marshal service, and all the staff and personnel for today's hearing at the Dirksen Federal Courthouse. Today, the committee will examine an issue on the minds of many people in Illinois and across the country, the high price of prescription drugs. It is a scandalous situation in America. People in the United States pay the highest prescription drug prices in the world, on average 4 times more than people in similar countries pay for brand name medications. For example, a well-known blood thinner, Eliquis, entered the market in 2013, 11 years ago, and it cost $3,100 annually in the United States. Same drug made by the same company for sale in Japan was not $3,100, it was $1,000. And over the past decade, the price in the United States has more than doubled, from $3,100 to $7,100. Meanwhile, in Japan, the price has dropped. Same drug, same company. Why? For years, Big Pharma has abused our patent system to obtain monopolies in medications so they can charge these sky-high prices. At the same time, they spent billions of dollars to fill the airwaves with ads so patients tell their doctors they need drugs like Eliquis so they can go skiing, fishing, whitewater rafting. By fueling demand for expensive medications that are walled off from competition by clever patent schemes, Big Pharma has made American patients their profit engine. Thankfully, this administration and Democrats in Congress decided to do something about it. In 2022, Congress passed and the President signed the Inflation Reduction Act. Not one single Republican voted for it. Under this law, we have capped the price of insulin at $35 a month, saving 50,000 seniors in Illinois approximately $500 a year. We have made vaccines under Medicare free. When shingles or RSV vaccines can cost up to $300 a dose, this change creates real savings for 1.4 million seniors in Illinois. Starting in January, there'll be a $2,000 annual cap on out-of-pocket costs for seniors, meaning no matter how expensive your medications are, you will not pay more than $2,000 in copay. I want to show you a chart. In August, the Biden-Harris administration started negotiating with Big Pharma the lower prices for 10 of the most expensive drugs under Medicare, resulting in price savings of up to 79%. I know it's impossible to read. Trust me, that's what it says. As a result of this negotiation, 9 million seniors will save a total of $1.5 billion in annual out-of-pocket costs, including nearly 300,000 seniors in Illinois who take one of these 10 drugs. Remember Eliquis, the one I talked about earlier? Thanks to this new law, Medicare was able to permanently cut its price in half, taking nearly $300 off the monthly price tag for more than 100,000 seniors in our state. This is just the beginning. Next year, Medicare will negotiate to lower prices for another 15 drugs and 20 in the year after that. But just as these historic savings are starting to take effect, there are great threats to their progress. 8 pharmaceutical companies raced to federal courthouses to stop the price negotiation. And former President Trump and his Republican allies want to repeal this provision altogether. In this committee, we often hear cries that these reforms will freeze innovation because the high cost of research and development for new drugs justifies these astronomical prices. That's the pharma argument. But these critics fail to mention that taxpayer-funded research at the National Institutes of Health benefited 99% of all drugs approved by the FDA in the last decade. In other words, our tax dollars being spent by the National Institutes of Health are establishing the research necessary to develop these drugs. They also fail to mention that many pharmaceutical companies spend more on sales and marketing than they do on research and development. Too often, the prices Big Pharma charges do not reflect scientific breakthroughs, but rather manipulation by lawyers and marketers. In fact, the top 10 best-selling drugs in 2021 were covered by an average of 42 active patents that block competition and create windfall profits. The Judiciary Committee has taken a leading role in addressing Big Pharma schemes. Last year, the committee unanimously reported 5 bipartisan bills that address these anti-competitive tactics. This includes my bill with Senator Tillis, Republican of North Carolina, to improve information sharing between the FDA and the Patent Office to prevent gamesmanship. Congress needs to pass these bills into law. Drugs are not effective in treating disease if a patient can't afford to buy them. Our hearing today will explore how legislation like IRA and the Judiciary Committee bills will help ensure patient access to life-saving medications. Let me lay out the mechanics for today's hearings. Joined today by 7 members of the Illinois Congressional Delegation. Some are arriving a little late with early morning appointments in other places, but I'm glad you're here. I have first recognized them to give brief statements. After we hear from our House colleagues, we will turn to our outside witness panel. After I introduce and swear in the witnesses, each witness has a 5-minute opening statement, and then we'll have questions and answers. I'll now turn to our first panel. I will call my colleagues from Congress in order of seniority, unless they are late in arriving due to scheduling conflicts. But the first was here early, and I welcome him. Congressman Danny K. Davis, you may make an opening statement if you wish.